Hello everyone. Good afternoon.
Hi.
Hello, good afternoon. So welcome back to the Gank Studios YouTube channel. As usual, I'm your host Magnolia Pixie Danny, and I'm here today with the one and only creator success coach Vinccy. Say hello everyone.
Hi, guys. My name is Vinccy and I'm a creator success coach here on Gang. Nice to meet you guys.
All right, awesome. So we have been actually doing a lot of webinars for Gank and its creators, but this time it's our very first webinar for public, so everyone can get Vincey's and our insights all about content creation and a lot more. So can you tell us more about what our topics will be today?
Okay, so basically our topic for today, it will be much more, I would say, interesting compared to my regular webinars because we will be actually covering about creators economy and actually how Gang can actually help you in earning more in this current economy. Yeah, so I am hoping that you guys will be interested to learn more about that, and I'll be happy to share more with you guys as well later on.
All right, that's exciting. Thank you so much. So, yeah, guys, if you are an aspiring content creator or creative person in general, you're going to learn a lot in this webinar, our very first live webinar of 2024. So, yes, if you are new here, you better subscribe so you can participate in the live chat so that you can ask questions later, especially during the question and answer portion. Alrighty, let's begin. So,
Yes.
our creator economy unleashed, featuring Paddy, our very cute mascot. I just have to mention that because he's adorable. Okay, so let's
Yeah. Yeah.
start. So here's our agenda for today. Kindly share with us what we're gonna go through.
Okay, so I'll be sharing with you guys actually a bit about what is creator economy. Because I am guessing a lot of people not quite sure what it is. So I'll be introducing about that a bit and how you can build your brand as a content creator. And also we will be focusing about how you as a content creator can actually navigate through our Gang platform to help you in this creator economy era. And also I will be sharing with you guys a bit about what are the challenges that current content creators are facing and hopefully provide you guys some of the solution that can help you guys as well. And also not forgetting that we will have our own success story from content creators on our platform to actually share about their experience on how Gang actually helped them in this creator economy situation. And last but not least, I'll be happy to open the floor to some questions and answer as well.
All right, so I hope all of you are prepared to learn a lot and make sure you're taking notes. But in case you want to return to this live stream, it will stay on our channel so you can rewatch the VOD afterwards if you want to go back to some topics. All right, so let's move forward. I want to ask Vincey, what is the creator economy? Because honestly, I've been doing content creation for years, but I've just heard about this term recently because of this webinar. So can you inform all of us here, what is the creator economy?
Okay. Actually, creator economy is kind of like a new term for actually content creators in this current era. So, creator economy, in a way, is actually for all the content creators where they have their own economy in how they can use their um, I would say creative thinking and creative mindset to actually monetize their content on digital platform. So I wouldn't say like creator economy is a very old term. It's rather quite new because of the rising of the creator in this current era. So we do have a lot of content creators, not only on just our platform, but the entire world. So what does this mean is that it actually created an economy where other content creators are actually earning money without the non-traditional way, which is, not inside an office job, not sticking a 9 to 5, and they can actually use their talents or use their content to earn money as well. So this is actually what creator economy is.
All right. I actually like the term because back in my day when we first started content creation, like they would use terms like monetization, monetizing our content, or even affiliate
Yeah.
marketing, or even influencer marketing. And all of that sounds
Yeah.
like such a money grabber, or like it's but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But then ever since ever since we've shifted from the term influencer to content
Mm-hmm.
creators, there was a time like that it shifted to content creators. It suddenly became more about the creation, more about the art
Yes.
of different
Mm.
content. And when you say creator economy, yes, we are aware that we would love to make this passion a living, or like somehow, because making videos, that's a full-time job. Like you really have to
Mhm.
spend a lot of time working on these content. So like practically speaking, creator economy is a lot more a lot more nice to hear, I would say. So yeah,
Yeah.
real. All right, we have some reactions in the comments. Same, never heard the term before. I know. This is so new to us all here. So yeah, speaking
Mhm.
of the creator economy, since now we know what that term is, I want to ask, how has this affected content creation, since this is a new era of it? We
Okay,
can move on.
so I would say, how does it affect content creation? It allows actually creators to have much more room to grow their creativity and to have their independence and flexibility in the things that they do as well. So if you can see here on this slide for democratization of creativity, so what does this do is it actually sets a benchmark for other content creators to actually know what kind of standard they should monetize their content as well. Because like you said, like you have been in this field for so long, and this is the first time you heard it, right? And because of the ever-changing digital landscape that we are facing right now, for what the content creators they are doing right now, okay, is they will actually level or standard their creativity in terms on how much they put in their effort for their content. Yeah, so
Mm.
democratization of creativity is basically allowing other content creators to really set a benchmark for their content creation.
I like that.
Mm.
I like that a lot. Especially okay, I could kind of relate this to the rise of Spotify, or like distribution for music. So as a musician, I have experienced releasing my own music. And in that sense,
Mm-hmm.
there is a democracy that you don't need to have a label, you don't need to have a manager, right? So,
Yeah.
in this sense, for content creation or any form of creativity, you actually don't need to be an employee, or you don't need to have a manager, just so that
Mm-hmm.
you can um, use your talents as a living, right? So that's really
Yes. Yes.
interesting. I want to
Yes.
go back here because we
Yeah.
mentioned some platforms and tools in creator economy. So can you go
Mm-hmm.
through these one by one? How can these
Oh,
help us?
Okay, so what are the platforms and tools in creator economy is actually like you mentioned before, for Spotify, is actually quite a common
Yeah.
platform that most of the people globally that will use it, right? So how does this help people in creator economy is that whenever they are using, like, let's say Steam for example. So Steam, if you are a game developer, you do not need to go through all the big major companies, they do not need to take a cut from your earnings and all those things, right? So what does this do is it allows game developers to create their games freely and without any kind of, like, changing of direction and all those kind of things. So they will face much more less, I would say, diplomatic issues in the game development, and they can also freely set their own pricing as well. So what I think for this creator economy is that all of these platforms that you can see here, like Steam, Spotify, Discord, and Domestika, all these actually allow content creators to freely price their I would say content, and also cutting out the middleman where they do not need to pay or let the companies or managers take a cut from their earnings as well. So aside from platform, we do also have tools as well. So do understand that not everyone is a musician, not everyone is a game developer, right? So how other creators they can earn is by using these kind of tools that you can see here, which is on Canva. Okay, so I would say for Canva, generally the creators, right, what they would do is, not all the content creators like to show their faces on cameras and all those things. So with Canva, what they can actually do is they can actually create slides, allow people to buy them on Canva and use it as part of their presentation and stuff like that. So that is also another form of content creation where the content creator does another thing by utilizing the tools available to help them monetize their content. So you can see here for Canva is mainly about slides, and for Unity is actually like 3D artists or 3D rendering. Streamlabs is quite common for streamers, as you know as well, and also Squarespace, which is actually a website building tool where content creators can actually use their website to create their own website without using without buying like a major domain space. Yeah, so this is what some of the platform and tool in creator economy that can help content creators, which I wanted to highlight here.
That's so cool. Actually, in this digital era we have nowadays, there's so many tools available to us, even AI. And at the end of the day, even if these help us be more efficient or faster creators or artists, at the end of the day, it's still up to your creativity, up to your branding, and like how you are as a human being and how you translate your ideas to the real world. So that's very interesting. So yeah, we can dive more into that, especially the branding part in a while in this conversation. So look forward to that, guys. Okay. Okay, so we have a little bit more here about content creation. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we talked about how it has democratized creativity, right? But you
Yeah.
have a really good point here also about how it can connect better with audience. So can you tell us more about this?
Okay, so for content creators, right? If, like, let's say for major content creations, if they can communicate directly with their audience, it actually helps them because it actually allows the content creator to have much more real-time feedback, and also they will be able to connect with audience at a much more personal level. So what does this do is that because content creators, they don't usually have the middleman to help them to do stuff, this also helps them to earn more because, okay, when they connect with their audience, right, as a content creator yourself, you would want to engage with your fans much more personally. So what can this do in creator economy when it is being removed, when the middleman is being removed, right? So your connection with your audience or your supporter is much more genuine. It's not that I would say rather a mediocre kind of style. So when you have a direct connection with your audience, it actually helps strengthen the bond between you as a content creator and your audience. And what can this do also is you can make sure that they will be able to support you much more longer as well.
I think that's a really important part of content creation. It's like you're not just sharing your life because you're vain. You're actually sharing it
Yes.
because you want to connect with people who have the same experiences as you, same interests as you, or maybe you want to influence them to like something else in the world. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's very important to consider. So what about consumption patterns? What does this have to do with our creator economy?
Okay, so as you know that currently right now in this current digital era, so what do people usually do most of the time is that they are always on their phone, they are always on their this actually shift their consumption pattern is that
Sorry, we shall reconnect. Give us 1 second. Hello.
hello.
Yes, it's okay.
Oh my god. Okay.
Let's
Yeah.
do that again. It's
So
okay.
yeah, so as I was saying, so mainly what they will do is actually when they see creators, they are much more, true to their heart, much more authentic, right? It's more likely they will be able to buy out of their content more. So for example, like Kim Kardashian, okay, so usually what Kim Kardashian do, right? Although she is a celebrity and a star, right? Whenever she actually explains product or whenever she actually explain the things that she use, she explain it on such a personal level that the audience felt very connected to and felt very authentic, that she actually share what she's using to the people on Instagram, okay, on live. So what does this do is it actually helps to shift the audience pattern to see that, okay, she's actually not trying to sell a product, she's actually just sharing her product to me. So whenever you are being portrayed as much more authentic and when you have much more relatable content for your target audience, what this will shift in the consumption mindset is that they will most likely buy your products. Yeah. So for this current content creation era, it's very important to highlight for content creators to shift their mindset in creating much more authentic and relatable content to their audience.
That's a really good point. What I've been noticing as well is that there's some sort of return in authentic content. Because for a while it became a lot about the Mr. Big, sorry, Mr. Beast style. Mr. Big is a
Yeah.
band. It
Yeah.
became really like everyone was copying Mr. Beast's editing style, super high production with all these flashy editing. But
Yes.
before that, there was an era of vloggers like Emma Chamberlain, who was very
Yeah.
authentic, relatable, and
Yes.
then with this new rise again, it's returning the authenticity trend. It's art creators like Life of Riza. If you've seen vloggers like those, they're very very relatable because they take a step back, just trying to document life, and it's
Yeah.
much more relatable than the flashy ADHD edit. It's really intense, but
Yeah, totally
yeah,
understand. So
that's the cool part because the environment of content creation is constantly changing. So if you're paying attention,
yes.
to be a creator, you also have to be a consumer, right? So you can't just keep creating without
Yeah.
acknowledging what's happening around you. So it's really awesome
Yeah.
that authenticity is back. All right.
Yeah, for that.
Yay. All right. So another one is independence and flexibility. What do you mean by this?
Okay, so when or what do I mean by this is that currently right now, a lot of people, they are actually striving for, being a content creator is cool. Being a content creator is, I can earn more money, I can earn big bucks. But what a lot of people don't really understand that is, aside from, having the fame and glamour and earning big bucks, okay, some of the people, some of the content creator, when they really do content creation, they really like their independence and flexibility that they get from doing their own content. Because if, let's say for example, like you're a musician, right? Like what we be seeing is the Taylor Swift case, where she actually re-released all her old songs into her own Taylor version. So what does this do is that, currently right now, content creators, they are actually striving for their own independence and flexibility in creating their own content. Okay, independence is like, in terms of the creative direction that they will take, and flexibility is mainly more about, the timing that they get to do things as well, instead of, really stuck at a 9 to 5 job or office job. I wouldn't say that it is bad or what, but it's just sometimes as a content creator, they wish more out of these kind of restrictive patterns in their life. So as a content creator, I would say that mainly right now, what they are changing in this creator economy is for the content creators to have a voice, to have a platform to showcase their talents, showcase their style, and also to have flexibility in the things that they do.
That's a really
So
good
that's
point.
mainly what it's about. Yeah.
Yeah, flexibility, especially since content creators nowadays, since you can create content basically anywhere. You can be a digital nomad and you can be pursuing your dream to travel the world if you want, or you can do multiple hobbies all at once. Well, that's how some do it anyway. But what I really appreciate what you're sharing here is that it's empowering independence over what you want to do with your life. It's really empowering. Of course, you still have to find that middle ground where you're contributing to society. You have to bring
Yeah.
value, right? You have to bring value, not just plain entertainment. But a lot of the great content creators nowadays, it's because they give value to their audience, and that's very
Yes.
important in
Important.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So moving forward, let's talk a little bit more about elements in creating your personal brand. We talked about in our introduction earlier that branding is very important. So let's tackle this one by one.
Okay, yeah. So starting from the top, if you can see, for the elements in, we say creating your own personal brand, definitely you need to focus on your value and identity. Like you really mentioned just now that currently right now, people are looking for authenticities. Okay, people are looking for someone that they can connect with. So when you craft your own personal brand as a content creator, you must define your values and identity. Okay, because actually what does this do is it will actually highlight to your audience without you telling your audience. Okay, so basically when you actually believe in what you do the most and it actually shows in your content, this will sets you apart from all the other content creators, and definitely your audience will know it without you really telling. So when we talk about, creating your own personal brand, really focus on what you want, okay, in creating your content for, and the identity that you associate with. So we do have some content creators that really focus on striving, having truthful authenticity feedback in terms of gadgets, beauty, makeup, skincare. So when you have a following that really follows you for that, okay, that actually showcase you as a person that is truthful, honest. Yeah. So that is the first thing that I wanted to highlight. So if you are a content creator, really do sit down and focus on what kind of value that you want to bring to your audience.
I really love that answer. Thank you so much. We have some comments here actually saying, I need this. And yes, so much people agreeing actually with what you're saying right now about values and identity. Because if you don't establish that in the very beginning, you're going to be so confused. Not just right,
Yes.
right? And your audience might be so confused as well. So yeah. So moving forward, what about audiences? Speaking of.
Okay, so I know a lot of content creators. Sometimes when they first start off, when they want to create their own personal brand, they do not think about their target audience. Okay, what does this do is I wouldn't say like it will actually deteriorate your journey in content creation, but when you have a target audience that you want to focus on, it will actually make your content creation process much more easier. Okay, and it will actually surround your brand, okay, with your audience instead of you need to navigate around to find your audience. So I would say that a lot of people, when they started off on this content creation journey, sometimes they're just like, okay, yeah, I just studied for fun, and I will see who watch my videos. Okay, it will just take a longer time to find your own personal brand instead of when you had it in your mind already, and when you have a determined target audience, okay, you will be able to actually find out which audience that you wanted to influence directly, and you will be able to tailor your brand message much more easier. So this is what I'm trying to highlight here when crafting your own personal brand. Yeah.
Very important. I hear this all the time. Like, you have to know your niche. Like, having a
Mm-hmm.
niche is basically how you know your target audience, because you're doing this for a certain demographic of people, like people who could possibly relate to you. And if you can't identify that in the start, maybe you'll find it along the way. But it's very important, because if you try to target everybody in the entire world,
Yeah.
usually the algorithm gets confused, or your
Mm.
audience will get confused. So you have to be speaking to a certain group of people. We have some
Yeah.
responses here from our viewers. I know some people that focus on a certain target audience but end up in a different demographic. That is actually so
Yes.
real. It happens, right? Like, you can't help
Mhm.
it, but sometimes the audience chooses you. You don't choose the audience. That can happen over
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
So
that can happen as well.
right. Well, what about this other message from Anya? A strong personal brand not only sets you apart from others, but it is also like the insurance you give, or assurance you give to your followers about the content you produce. I like that as well. Like, assurance, very important. You have to establish this sort of trust with your audience that, hey, I am this type of creator. You visit my channel, you visit my pages because you're looking for this type of inspiration, or you want to learn something about this. So that's why
Mhm.
you're there. That's the value you give to them. Very important. Assurance equals loyalty. Exactly. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, moving forward, what about building your online presence? Yes, we have target audiences. Sometimes you end up in a different demographic, but how do you build that audience in the first place, or online presence?
Okay, so usually when we talk about building an online presence is if you are trying to create your own personal brand, but you do not have a present, you do not have a digital footprint online, no one would know about you, right? So building an online presence is very important for your own personal brand because it actually allows you to have a strong social media presence for others to see. Okay, I would say like, not just focusing on one platform, but if you have a few multiple online presence on other social media platform, okay, it will actually serve as a hub for people to view your content. So when you are offline, okay, I wouldn't say like it's bad, it's good to have a time off, but building an online presence is that constantly updating your social media. When you put yourself out there, you are much more easy to be recognizable, and you are much more easy to be well known by perhaps brands that you want to collab, and people will take notice of you because coming from you, like Magnolia PC Danny, you are also a content creator as well. So personally, from your experience, like if you don't post content out there, no one will actually know who you are, right? So building an online presence definitely really means to really just put yourself out there to let people know that, hey, here I am, look at me. Yeah. And sooner or later, it will actually help to grow your personal brand.
Yeah, exactly, guys. So, you made a really good point that it is important to have some time off from the internet, like touch some grass, guys. But also, like at the same time, if you're too focused on in-person events, you might not be building your online presence. And the thing is, like we
Mhm.
talked about this in previous Creator Chats episodes, we talk about how Gank and other social media platforms, these can actually help you build some sort of um how would you say this, portfolio. Your
Yeah.
social media is technically your portfolio, and that's how some filmmakers nowadays actually start in the industry. Technically their Instagram or their YouTube is their
Mhm.
portfolio. So when they
Yeah.
finally meet the connections that they're supposed to meet, who will possibly lead them in the right direction, they already have a piece of portfolio to share. So sometimes it's not necessarily about having the biggest numbers. Sometimes it's also about
Yes.
compiling all your greatest works, what you are capable of, and when businesses or brands find you and they need someone exactly like you, they're gonna email you, they're gonna approach you. Even if, oh,
Mhm.
I just have 1,000 subscribers or less, or just 500 followers on TikTok or something. But if you're what the brand is looking for and you displayed it through your content, then bingo, you got it. So yeah, let's
Yeah.
read some of the
Yeah.
comments, by the way. Yeah, authenticity is the key in content creation, just like we mentioned a while ago. Thank you very much. And another one here is, it's interesting because you look at the comments on some reels and people can easily pinpoint if something is fake. That's true, like fake pranks or fake reactions. Human emotions, you can't fake that, guys. Even if it's acting is a lot of skill. It takes a lot of
Mhm.
skill. So you, even if it's just acting, you actually portray those real emotions. So if it becomes something that's very mechanical, robotic, might as well just have an AI society. If you're not gonna,
Yeah.
yeah, right? If you're not gonna show emotions or connect with authenticity, might as well just become AI.
AI. True to that. True to that.
All right. Okay, so moving on, how do you engage now with your audience? So let's say
Oh.
we've determined our niche, we're starting to build our presence, but how do you engage?
Okay, so engaging is quite unique because I would say that every content creator have their own way of actually engaging with audience. But one of the most common kind of engaging that we can see is actually, like, let's say you're on Instagram and you're doing like a poll, Instagram poll. I would say that's the easiest way to really engage with your audience because you are
Mm,
able to get feedback directly from your audience on what you want. And what does this do for your personal branding is that you can actually foster a community around your personal branding. So let's say, for example, if you are like a musician on your platform, right, and you wanted to find out that your audience would like a song that is like much more pop or much more jazz, you are able to craft your personal brand through having an interaction with your audience. So this allows a much more personal touch towards your own branding as well.
I really like that. Comments or asking for feedback in the comments or through polls. It's like you're empowering your audience or telling them that, hey, you also have a part in the process. You're also
Mhm.
involved in the content creation process. And that's
Yeah.
really beautiful, especially when that feeling when you answer the poll and then the creator actually does it. Yo, I
Yeah.
contributed to this idea. Like, hey, I voted that. So it's really
Yeah. So that's
important, right?
yeah. So that's how I think that you really can engage with your audience. I would
Mm.
say one of the much more common musician or artist that really engages with their audience is either Charlie Puth or
Mm.
the artist JKVE.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not sure
Yeah,
how
I'm not
to
quite sure how
say
to
his
pronounce.
name, but
Yeah,
he's
so I was
probably
like,
just Jake
yeah, okay, yeah, he's probably
with a
just Jake.
V.
Yeah, but yeah, with a V. So his kind of both of their contents are really, bringing through the audience in, crafting their own musical journey. So this is also part of their personal branding per se. Yeah.
That's very interesting. Oh, we have a question here from Justine. I hope you can answer this for us. Is it true that 1% engagement of the number of followers you have is the average?
Is it true that 1% of engagement of the numbers of followers that you have is the average? I would say it really varies. Personally, I do not know whether is it like 1%, but I would say that usually all these things, engagement with audience, okay, depending on how much of numbers of followers that you have, I would say sometimes it's really more than 1%. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the question. We can answer more later on during the Q&A portion. And last but not the least, let's talk about how to adapt and evolve, and why is this important for creating your personal brand.
Okay, because I would say this is very important, because if you are a content creator in this current era, there are always a lot of TikTok trends. There are always a lot of, things happening around us so fast that you, as a content creator, you will need to be willing to really adapt and change your brand as needed. Okay. I do understand that sometimes certain content creators, they are like, oh my God, it's my baby. I want to stick it to my personal brand. But it is also important to highlight that your brand needs to grow along with your growing, and also the community around you as well. So not only does this help you to stay relevant and really evolve with the changes in this society, but it also allows people to show that, oh, you are growing as a brand by itself. So if I would say like my personal point of view is that if you know, I think a lot of people know PewDiePie, right? So PewDiePie just started off as someone that is really creating content from his bedroom with just playing horror games. And now he is really moving on to creating vlogs and all those things. So himself as a person, he actually grow his personal branding from that to really vlogging about his daily life. So when you show that to your audience, okay, it shows that, you are really changing yourself personally, and also, adapting to what really fits your lifestyle, instead of just continuing playing the same horror games and all those things. So this really shows your growth to your audience, that you are really willing to adapt and evolve as needed by you or the society. Yeah.
I think that's really important, especially, okay, PewDiePie is a really good example. He has been one of the OGs ever since, for years, for the longest time.
Yes.
And if you guys noticed, he constantly adapts and evolves. He never stays in the same era. Like, remember the era he had platinum blonde hair? His content was
Yes,
also different during that time. Like, he has a different character every time. He changes the era every time he evolves from a certain type to what he is now. And because of
Yes.
that, it feels like we were part of his growth as a human being. It's like we were his friend since high school, and then now, like, he's this adult with a child and a baby.
yeah.
That's so amazing. So yeah, I really love what you added here, because adapting and evolving, I feel like that's something that is very important to me as well. Yeah. Personally, like, I have a really hard time sticking with the same type of content. I really can't, because I have a lot of passions and hobbies. So the fact that I like cosplay, I like making videos, music, etc., etc. Sometimes I can't stay on the same audience or like niche, like we talked about earlier. But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, like, your audience, your true fans, stick with you because they are watching your personal growth, your personal brand. So to highlight
Yeah.
everything, yeah, you have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to reinvent yourself over and over again because I mean, trends don't stay forever. Your
Yeah.
viral content that might have worked at the time, but if you keep this doing the same thing and you don't do anything out of your comfort zone, you might actually get burnt out instead. So
Yeah.
something very important about making this entire content creation more sustainable is to actually
It's,
trust your gut and reinvent yourself instead of doing the same thing over and over
yeah.
again. So yeah, I
Yeah.
really love where this conversation is going. Thank you so much, Vincey. So here we
Welcome.
go. Let's get into the nitty gritty now. Strategies. All right, to enhance your brand visibility. What do you mean by this? And let's talk about it.
Okay. Yeah. So just now when we are talking about personal branding, some of the content creators or perhaps people they'll be thinking, oh my god, how do I actually reach out to people to let them know about me? Okay. That doesn't mean that you just have to blast your content on every platform, okay, because sometimes you might not catch the right audience, right? So
Right.
let's say if you are a streamer, you would preferably go to Twitch to stream your content instead of having it on Spotify, right? So when you have a strategy to really focus on how you build your brand by choosing the right platform, this really helps you to, I would say, target the audience directly instead of you having to knock a few walls and try and error and all those things. So when we talk about choosing the right platform, like what we have here, Gang is also a right platform for content creators of various categories to really showcase their brand. So yeah, I would say choosing the right platform really makes your life easier as a content creator, where you can really focus on reaching out the people that you want without having to do too much of trial and error along the way. Yeah, so that's what I mean by choosing the right platform.
That's a really good point. I've seen this YouTuber coach on her channel before. She mentioned that she quit Instagram. And she wasn't joking, she wasn't bluffing. She's really stopped posting on Instagram for a while because she really wanted to focus on her right platform, which is YouTube. So, like, if you really put all your eggs in different baskets, like that's more chances of winning, right? But at the same time,
Yeah,
you're spreading too wide, and
too wide. Yeah.
yeah, you're using up your energy when you can be hyper focusing on which matters the most, which platform your audience would resonate with the most. So, for example, your content is more of entertaining or really short, quick. Maybe TikTok is your place
Yeah.
to go. But if you prefer like what we're doing, we're talking about something kind of educational, kind of valuable in a sense. Like you really have to sit down. Like podcasts. These are very
Yeah.
big on YouTube now because people really go to the platform to learn. And sometimes they even just put their phone while they get ready or do something else. They just
Yeah.
listen because they
Yeah.
want to learn something new. So it really depends which platform. Okay. So moving on, what about optimizing your profile?
Okay, so what we talk about when you're optimizing your profile, right? So as a content creator, you wouldn't want your profile to look scattered all over the place. So if let's say you are a content creator that really does a lot of different kind of content, so sometimes when a random person just landed on your profile and they don't know what you are doing, they might lose interest then, and they might just think like, oh my god, this person is just posting random stuff, maybe it's not right to follow, so they wouldn't want to follow. So what I talk here about optimizing your profile is that if let's say you are really focusing on a lifestyle, fashion, showcase that on your profile by, pinning the first few poses, okay, to let people know that, oh, okay, you are doing lifestyle, fashion, and perhaps some casual content, okay. When you optimize your profile for other people to see, okay, this actually increases your brand visibility. So if really you are not just focusing on one content, I would say, for let's say on Instagram, for example, if really you are a musician, you are trying to share like your photography video and all those kind of things, do pin that at the top of your Instagram so that people would know that, oh, okay, even though you didn't really mention it on your profile, when they see your content, they'll be like, when they see the first three content, then they will be like, oh, okay, so this person does, a bit of cooking, a bit of music, a bit of photography. Oh, okay, maybe this is something I might like, and I will follow it. So that is what I mean by optimizing your profile. Yeah, you will need to optimize your profile for other viewers to, get a grasp of what you are really doing.
I like that too. You have a really good point, because in social media, you actually have a limited amount of characters in your bio, right? So like, it's not like you can mention every single thing you do, all the types of content you do. Maybe a very brief bio that encompasses everything, but when you show, not tell people that you create this, you do this by pinning it on top, like that's like a life hack for content creators. So you don't
Yeah.
necessarily have to explain everything you do, you just show them. Very important.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so what about regular posting schedule? Is this super important? Do you really need to have a schedule?
Okay. When I talk about regular posting schedule, I wouldn't mean like, okay, Monday you have to post at 9 a.m.
Okay, give us 1 second. Vinccy will reconnect in a few. She got very passionate. Yes. She'll be back soon. Okay, while waiting for Vincey to return, let's talk about your posting schedules. Do you guys just let us know in the chat? Do you have a regular posting schedule or not? Okay? So please oh, there we go. She's back. Hello.
Hello. I'm so
Yes,
sorry.
it's okay, it's okay. I just left a new question poll while waiting. So what do you call this? Well, you got disconnected. I asked the audience if they have a regular posting schedule. Yes or no? Answer the poll below. Okay, you may continue. Go ahead.
Okay, so what I talk about regular posting schedule is that you don't really have to set a schedule like you need to post at a certain timing, like on Monday 9 a.m. on Tuesday like 12 p.m. Okay, but what I talk about regular posting schedule is that when you consistently post like perhaps every other day or every day, okay, this can actually allow people to see you. Okay, so it's much more of putting yourself out there. I do understand some people, they said, they have certain algorithm or certain timing where people will actually view perhaps like Instagram or Facebook more. But I will say that, when you're just starting out in doing content creation, really just by posting every other day, irregardless of the timing, by just putting yourself out there consistently, it will actually showcase to perhaps brands that might want to reach out to you that you are actually trying to increase your personal brand visibility. So that is what I'm talking about here. Yeah, having a regular posting schedule is just, really committing yourself to create posting every other day or every day if your time allows.
That's a really good point. If your time allows, guys, don't burn out just because you're pushing yourself so hard. And also, I think it's very important to balance quality and quantity. Because if you have so much quantity but there is no more quality, there is no point actually in following your consistent schedule. So yeah, but it says, oh, someone commented here, spreading yourself too thin is bad even on social media. Exactly, exactly. All right. So we have some answers on the
Yeah,
poll.
that's very true.
Okay. So some actually, 17% answered yes, they have a posting schedule. Great, that's great to hear. 33 says not really. So maybe you kinda have a loose schedule, but it's good that you're trying.
Mhm.
And last but not the least, 50%, the biggest percentage, says I try.
Yeah,
So the effort is there,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
A
The effort is
star
there.
for trying. All right. So thank you for participating in the poll. Yes. Justine says it's a fine line between having our niche and doing the same thing over and over again and then knowing where to branch out. Exactly. You have to determine
Mhm.
that fine line. Okay. So thank you for that. Last but not the least, we have hashtags and trends.
Yes. So I would say that when you are trying to increase your brand visibility, following the hashtag and trends that is suitable for your personal brand, okay, might increase your brand visibility. I like that you really highlighted a point just now that, there was one era when everyone was doing kind of like Mr. Beast flashy video, okay? So when that is too much, that will actually, make the entire pool go like really just, everyone is just like doing normal things, and they just wouldn't want to catch your content. So when I talk about having a hashtag and trends in your posting, right, make sure it is really relevant to you. Please don't just, blindly follow everyone. Like, oh my God, I must follow Mr. Beast style doing video, because that is the trend. Yes, having a trend is good. Having a hashtag that follows a trend is really good. But please really relate it to your own personal branding so that when your audience actually engages with your content, they will see that, oh, okay, this content creator is someone that I will really follow because, she's not just blindly following things that are trending right now. She really tries to really engage with her content in a much more trendier way. Yeah, that is how they will read it.
That's a really good point because trends and hashtags are essential for growth. But at the same time, I love what you said that you have to insert your personal branding. Don't just blindly follow what's hip, what's cool at the moment.
Yeah.
It has to be relevant to what you do, to who you
Mhm.
are, your identity. So always
Yeah.
insert a little bit of yourself. Okay, cool.
Yes, correct.
All right. So now let's talk a little bit deeper into the creator economy in terms of how Gank is contributing to that. So can you tell us about the various monetization tools Gank has?
Okay, so like you can see here on the slide, okay, Gang has various monetization tools that we can help content creators to really strive in this creator economy. So currently what we have right now is actually pay-per-view, stream donation, membership donations, and a lot of things, okay, that actually all these kind of tools can help creators to actually diversify their income based on their content. So I wouldn't say like, you really just need to focus on earning from one kind of monetization tool that we have here, but you can really focus on, sometimes asking for donation from your community and also, committing to membership so that your audience can get a much more consistent update on your daily life, So Gang really helps content creators in this kind of creator economy era is because we really think about what we can do more for the content creators, and that's what I really like about Gang is because Gang really, I would say diversify your income in various ways that allows content creator to, put out contents in different format. Yeah.
That's a really good point. Ever since I discovered what Gank was, it was actually mind blowing because it actually made it easier, more convenient, especially in our
Mm-hmm.
part of the world. It's more convenient for our payment methods, and there are different ways to monetize. It's not just one single method. So if one doesn't
Mm-hmm.
work out for you or it doesn't fit your personal beliefs or branding, you can offer a different method. So for example, like what I
Yeah.
do, since I don't have memberships on mine, I actually focus
Mm-hmm.
on, for example, e-courses. So I've had a student
Mm-hmm.
before, then I taught him how to be a content creator, like a really
Oh.
personalized course. And that's just
Mm-hmm.
one example you guys can do, by the way. So if
Yeah.
you do not have any idea how you can monetize your content, Gank is actually there, and there's so many examples on the platform, like Discover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's so cool. It's so cool because there's so many ways. You can be creative with how you want to monetize your
Mm-hmm.
content. So it's really empowering in that aspect as well. Yes.
Yes. That's
Okay,
good.
thank you so much for sharing that. If you guys want to learn more about the features on Gank, we actually have an entire playlist of how to use Gank on our YouTube channel. So do check that out. Okay.
Yes.
So
Mm.
moving forward, how can Gank help you to be part of the content creator economy?
Okay. So as you can see here, okay. So if sometimes I do understand, like you just now you did mention about, content creators having burnt out or are too tired to think about their contents, actually what we do here on Gang is actually we have monthly campaigns to really help boost creators earnings and even win prizes. Okay. So what does this do for content creators is that it might help them to spark an idea on what they might need to do for this month's content. So, like, let's say, for example, for this month content where we really focus about membership. So, perhaps for some content creators that are not new to this membership, they are much more keen to try out this monetization tool is because, oh, they see that, oh, okay, there's a benefit in for me as well, and they are much more willing to try that. And that is really what I like about Gang is that we really think about ways to really help the content creators on how they can really uh, diversify their content. Yeah. So not just really like you mentioned, sticking to one kind of content, and like let's say just earning from donation and stuff like that. But with monthly campaigns that really focusing on different monetization too, it really allows the content creators to have much more variety in what they are doing.
I totally agree. And the campaigns, they actually somehow become like a reminder to our creators, like, hey, we're doing this thing, so you can possibly revamp your Gank account. Because personally, like, if you're a content creator and you're so busy with creating your next content, sometimes you forget.
Mm-hmm.
You forget to
Yeah.
manage your monetization membership platforms. So the campaigns, I think it's very important to sort of give backup or reminders to our content creators. And it's important to have that a community like that who understands your process and what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what else? What about creator success coaches like you, Vincey?
Yeah. Okay. So, what I want to say is that how Gang can really help you be a part of this creator economy. Really, aside from having different kind of monetization tools, having different monthly campaigns, we do also have coaches on our platform that can help content creators in perhaps when they want to streamline their ideas or streamline their project, they do not know how to do it, they can actually reach out to us and engage with coaches so that we are able to guide them on their journey. And sometimes I do understand content creators that might view us as like a coach or teacher, but we are more than that. Sometimes we are really just your friend that just really trying to listen and understand you, because we might get that sometimes content creators they are lonely in a sense where they are really doing really niche kind of content and they don't know who to reach out to, we are always here for you guys as well. So I like that Gang really has this prepared. Gang really has this prepared for content creators, so that you're not alone in this journey by yourself. We do have coaches here to really back you up and to really help you and assist you in anything that you need.
Oh, that's so sweet. You guys heard it from our very own creator success coach, Vinccy. You are not alone, guys. Regardless what niche you are in, there is somebody who will support you. So reach out to our creator success coaches. All right. What about boost plans? Now, I've heard about this way back then, but how has this been helping our creators throughout the years? Can you tell us more about it?
Okay. From what I understand for our platform, when you actually have a free plan, okay, you will actually just have only one membership tier and only a 10 shop listing. But what we can do here on Gang is where you get a boost plan, okay, you will actually have much more, I would say, diversification in your content, where you can have up to 10 membership tiers or even 50 shop listing. So what can this do is that it will actually help content creators to focus much more on the things that they want to give to the community. So instead of having one membership tiers, perhaps they can focus one membership tiers on casual things to do, another one for art, another one for music. So I would say, if you see content creation as the sky as the limit, then on Gang here, we really try to support you as much as we can as well. So having a boost plan really allows content creator to have much more freedom in doing content creation in their way.
More freedom, more tools to actually make this content creation a business. Like, take it seriously, because content creation is also a business, if you think about it. Okay, so now that we've talked about different strategies, what about challenges? Like, I'm pretty sure everyone here has experienced some form of challenge when it comes to content creation. So there are several listed here, but I want also the chat to comment below their personal challenges. And yeah, go ahead, Vincey.
Okay, so kind of the top thing that currently the creators are facing right now is actually kind of like a monetization challenge, where some of the content creators, they do not know how to monetize their content. Okay, I do understand as a content creator, when you're starting out, you might feel that perhaps no one wants to donate to me, perhaps no one wants to buy my content, but really you would never know until you really start monetizing your content. So I would say the first step out is really to just put yourself out there. Really this sentence is to put yourself out there, and trying to get brands to know you and stuff like that will have monetization coming in later on. So yeah, challenges that really creators are facing right now is getting through that hurdle of, whether should I monetize my content or not. So this is part of the things that I wanted to highlight as well.
Really good point. Monetization. What about platform dependency? When you say platform, is it like just one social media or like a device? What do you mean by this?
Okay. I like that you pointed out like whether is it just one platform. Okay. So yes, what I'm trying to highlight here is actually perhaps like one social media platform that you are focusing on. It's good that you have you really focus on one platform, right? But if let's say if anything happened to the platform, when the platform is down, do you have another backup plan to actually I would say monetize your content out? I like how that you mentioned that just now a creator that was really just focusing on YouTube, she actually quit Instagram. Okay, so in just because we know YouTube is really going very strong, right? So it's good. So if imagine you are doing on a much smaller platform, okay, and you're really dependent on that platform, Okay, so once the platform is down, perhaps something happened or stuff like that. What is your plan B? So currently, the challenges that creators are facing is this. Okay, platform dependency is, I would say, is a double-edged sword where it's good and bad at the same time. But if let's say without the platform, can you find other ways to really monetize your content as well? So I wouldn't say like, please focus on one platform or please focus on various platforms. But as a content creator, you would need to be prepared to think about what happened just in case if this platform has anything that's happening, like it suddenly got closed down or stuff like that. Yeah. So that's the plan B that you really need to think about.
I think that's really important because you could imagine, well, my mindset towards this, I imagine, what would I be if YouTube just stopped existing? Would I still be a person, a valuable person? Like, you have to be something besides the platform you're depending on or your main
Yes.
platform. You're still
Yes.
who you are, regardless if that platform disappears or suddenly crashes or someone, I don't know, sues the company. You
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
be. You have to be prepared. There's a plan B. I
Yes.
like
You
how
have to
you
be.
mentioned there's a plan B.
Yeah. So remember to really always have a plan B. It's not to say that you cannot depend on the platform, but that's why, like the previous point where I mentioned, to have your own personal brand. If you are able to survive without the platform, also, that is a plan B as well. Yeah.
Very good point. Before we move on to the other ones, I'd like to read some of the comments, their personal challenges as well. So for Anya Nicola, it's running out of content ideas. And I hear this often, especially when I used to interview other content creators for creator chats. I would hear this, even if they're huge content creators already, they have huge numbers or they've been doing this in the industry for quite some time already, they still run out of content ideas. So, how do you think creators can overcome this challenge?
I would say, when you're running out of content ideas, how you can really overcome this is, I would say, to list down the kind of content ideas that you have run through before and really see which one that you can bring it back to revamp again. Because like you mentioned that we need to adapt and evolve, right? So some of the content that previously in the past, okay, it might work during that era, but when you have an updated kind of content and ideas, this allows your audience to see that, okay, you are really doing your homework. You will go back and look at your previous kind of content and will try to update it to be as relevant to the current society or current community that are actually looking for what they want now. So yeah, I understand that sometimes, a lot of content creators said, oh, they are running out of ideas is because, they have done everything already. But really, your homework is also to look back at your previous content and see what can be updated and really what can be improved. And when you showcase that to your audience, it really seems that, you have done your homework.
That's a really good point. You have to do your homework, guys. Do your homework, kids. I'm also a teacher in real life, by the way. So I totally agree with Vincey over here. You have to do your homework. As a content creator, it doesn't end when you press publish, right? It doesn't end, period, because you have to constantly think how you can refresh your old content. Let's say your video is 1 year old, and yeah, I already did that idea before, but have you done an updated version for this year? What if the tips you gave last year aren't relevant anymore? Right?
Yeah.
So there's always a room for improvement or more valuable learnings or entertainment even. So that's a really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so what about from Justine's? She said, sometimes I'm the problem. Oh no. I tend to undercharge, but I'm lucky that brands and companies always offer higher and don't take advantage of me. Know your rights. That's right.
Yes. Know
Know
your rights.
your rights. I know if you're just starting out, I've had some friends in or mutuals in the community who have asked me, "Hey, Ate Dani, what do you think I should charge for this because the company approached me, blah blah blah." And if you're really new to this content creation world, you might not know how to charge brands just yet. And maybe you
Yeah.
might undercharge, but that's why it's good to have a couple of friends doing the same thing. You can ask each other, if you're close enough, ask each other's rates so you have a baseline. Or you can start small, and then once you've learned or once you've developed as a creator, maybe that's when you can up your rates. But what do you think about
Yes.
this, Vincey?
I would say that, perhaps if you are just starting out, maybe you can really think about is that the rates that you're given, is it really worth your time? So if let's say, for example, if you were to given like a product to review, okay, but they have given you like, let's say the amount is less than what you hope for, really think about it like, okay, is it really worth my time to have this amount of money to do that amount of work? Yeah. So I would say that, of course, please don't, when you are starting out, just demand the highest amount possible. Okay. But also, if you are really starting out, just think of whether the exchange is it like, comfortable to your level or not. So of course, when you're starting out, people will undermine you. It's really quite normal. Okay. But think of it as a way that, are you really here for the money, or are you getting the experience first? Because
Exactly.
all the brands will think about, when you have the experience, when you have your portfolio really very nice and everything,
Exactly.
then you are able to demand a higher rate. So of course, when you are starting up small first, just think about whether is this rate worth your energy and worth your time. Yeah,
I
I
really
would say
like
that's
your
how you do.
answer again, because you have to know if it's worth your time. Know your worth. Know your rights, guys. Especially even if you're just starting out. That's true. You could be taking X deals, like doing gigs for free, doing sponsored posts, X deals for free, but that's because you're building your portfolio. And once in the future, when brands see that you've worked with other brands before, I mean, they don't care if it was a paid gig or not. But the fact that you're able to produce this quality of content already in the past, that's your portfolio right there. And that's when you
Yeah.
can charge better, right? That's so
Yeah.
true. Okay. So we have here Vincey's your coach. Oh, team Vincey. And YouTube copyright strictness is annoying sometimes. Okay. That is true. But there's a lot of how would I say this? There's a lot of rules to actually follow. I think all platforms have copyright as an issue, right? But
Yeah.
sometimes some platforms just automatically remove it. Some platforms they just put copyright claim or they give you a warning, but other platforms they just entirely remove your video. So
Yeah.
I think you should just understand how copyright works or just make everything yourself. Because sometimes I would use my own music, my own instrumentals, just to be super sure that the music isn't copyright. Sometimes when you create
Yeah.
everything yourself, it's just the safer route. Okay, so let's continue with
Okay.
content fatigue. What do you mean by content fatigue? I've never heard of this before.
Okay, content fatigue meaning is another term of saying like content burnout, like where you do not know, like kind of what Anani Kola was saying, that she had run out of content ideas on what to do. So this is actually what content fatigue is. Okay, so like I mentioned, definitely content fatigue happens to long time content creators, because you are not able to think about new ideas and stuff like that. So what I would really suggest is that sometimes really just take a break. Take a break. Having burnt out you yourself as a content creator is really not that good, because it will actually show up in your content. And that is quite a lot of the creators, what they are facing right now is they think about, I must do posting, I must earn money, I must post. Yes, but really, please also do think about, okay, when you're having like burnout, take a step back, because it will definitely affect your content and what you're doing. Yeah.
That's really important, guys. We talk about burnout a lot in our YouTube channel, so you can check out previous videos. But also, to be very specific, we also interviewed our Gank CEOs. So we got the perspective of our bosses to talk about burnout themselves. So that's from the perspective of content creators as well as founders of a startup company. And I think that's very insightful. So you guys should check that out. All right. So moving forward, intellectual property. This is probably related to YouTube copyright, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else can you add to this?
So intellectual property, like copyrights and stuff like that, like sometimes I know that creators, like artists for example, like whatever they're drawn, it will be it will be copied by someone else and sell it as their own money and content. So I know that, because we are at like the internet, it's a world wide web where really everyone can just use their own things as they wish, okay, without any copyright. What the creators are facing right now is actually how to protect their intellectual property. So definitely I will say that, when you have a committed or supportive fan base, okay, your audience, okay, that might actually help you to really report that account, and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say like there's a for sure way to really win this intellectual property thing unless you really get it copyrighted, okay. But yeah, other than that, just really be aware and mindful yourself as a content creator, like whether are you using other people's content, as I would say as your own. Yeah. So really this is much more to bringing awareness instead of saying I have like a for sure solution to get your to not get.
Okay, I think she disconnected again. It's okay. Let's continue about the topic. So I think when it comes to content creation, like everyone has their own take and copyright. Some people, they want to give art for free. Some people, they want to share their music, their videos for free. Art should be free. But at the same time, like, you should respect the art of other people. So when you refer or when you like even just cite or review a certain content creator or video, you are in fact taking or using them as leverage. So I think it just makes sense that you give them credit, and that's why intellectual property and copyright claim is really important, and you have to know this as a content creator or the business aspect of it. Okay, so guys, if ever you get copyright claims, don't worry, chill out. You can always make another video. You can always create your next piece of content, and it's not the end of the world. Okay, so while waiting for Vinccy, I want to ask you another question in our poll. What have you ever been copyright claimed before? Let us know in the poll. There we go. Alright, hello Vincey, welcome back. So I added a poll. Vincey is back and
Hi.
yes. Alright, so actually Angel said in the chat, Gank has a list of free resources on TikTok as well as info on copyright. So make sure you guys check out our TikTok and follow TikTok because we have so much tips and advice to give you there as well. And you can also consider commissioning music. Exactly. Yes, this is also one of my listings on my Gank, but a lot of other content creators and musicians do that as well on Gank. So yeah, let's continue with audience engagement if you're ready. Okay, can you
Yeah.
tell us more about
Yeah.
that?
Okay, so for audience engagement, okay, so why does this pose as a challenges for creators is that sometimes they feel like they don't know what to ask their audience. They might felt like, oh, am I like lowering myself as a content creator that I need to ask ideas from the audience, you know? So sometimes these can be seen as a part of the things that content creators need to get through it. Okay, having audience engagement with your fans, your supporter doesn't mean that you are running out, you don't know what to do with your content, but really is having your audience be a part of this content creation journey with you. So when you change that mindset, you will actually change the narrative in the content that you are doing. Yeah, so that is the thing that I wanted to highlight about audience engagement.
Yeah, exactly. Just like what we talked about a while ago, why it's so important. You have to be engaged with your audience, relatable, and in other aspects as well. It doesn't necessarily mean that because your video doesn't get any comments, it doesn't mean people find value in it. Sometimes it's the watch hours also, and that can also be counted as engagement. There are silent viewers. Maybe they're shy. They don't really wanna comment because they're shy. Or yeah, they're just, silent viewers, and that's really fair. But that's the thing. The numbers in terms of watch hours, retention, those don't lie. So yeah. Continuing, let's talk about algorithm dependency since we're talking about numbers also.
Yes, yeah. So, like for certain content creators, like when they see like, oh, why is my content not showing up on the algorithm as it's supposed to, they might feel like, okay, whatever that I'm doing is pointless. So please do not depend too much on the algorithm. I would say that the algorithm is there to support your content instead of, you have to craft your content around the algorithm. So when you are able to understand that the algorithm is there to support your content instead of you chasing after the algorithm, then that will actually, I would say, shift your mindset in creating your own content. And it would make your content creation journey much more happier instead of, thinking about I have to chase numbers, trends, those kind of things. Yeah. Always remember those are there to support you. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much, Vincey. Yeah, guys, take notes, take notes. The algorithm is actually here to support you and not the other way around. You're not supposed to chase the algorithm, okay? And another thing I've learned is that you're actually here not for the algorithm, not for the AI. You're here for the audience. So you have to think about it. Your question should not be, what will the algorithm like? No, you have to think, what will my audience like? Or what will my target audience like? So it's really the viewer's choice per se. Or like Kids' Choice Awards. So it's really like that, not the other way around. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we have competition and comparison. I'm pretty sure a lot of guys here will relate as well. Can you tell us more?
Yeah. So I would say that when we are looking at competition and comparison, it's much more about the content creators themselves. Sometimes they will look at other content creators. They are doing almost the same industry or same niche as them, and they will compare. Okay. So these kind of challenges is usually much more, I would say, internal, because they will always go and judge themselves and saying like, oh my god, if I did it like her or if I did it like him, perhaps I will get more views, perhaps my content will be better. But remember that kind of like you mentioned that, everyone is following Mr. Beast style, had a flashy kind of thing. Please don't do that. These kind of challenges, I do understand that sometimes it is very tempting to, say that I wanted to follow the crowd, but having your own authenticity, having your own personal spark will actually create your own community by yourself. Yeah. So competitive and comparison is much more, I would say, internal as a content creator.
I think a lot of content creators or artists go through this. I mean, technically, if you're on the internet, regardless if you're a content creator or not, people tend to not copy, but people tend to compare their lives with the lives of how influencers curate their perfect lives. But you have to remember that, I mean, this has been a trend a long time ago already. Like, social media is not real. Yeah, we get it. But at the same time, these content creators as well, they put a lot of work and effort and art into curating that perfect video. So technically, you shouldn't judge it like their life is perfect and my life isn't. Right. So like, there's actually a lot of that goes through the process. And I like what Angel commented here in the chat. It's important to make your content consistent first. You can work your way towards certain trends without losing yourself to the algo. I'd like to add to that, besides losing to yourself to the algo, besides losing without losing yourself to competition or comparison as well. So there will definitely be people bigger than you, maybe prettier than you, maybe more I don't know, talented than you, but you have your own fair and unfair advantages that you can use to succeed in your life. So that's a lot of I talk about this a lot on my channel, but the point here is you have to focus on yourself, your branding before anything. Yeah, so I like where this conversation is going. So for the last one, let's have income diversification. How is this different from monetization?
Okay. For monetization is that, you are worried that you are worried to put your content out to get monetized, right? Income diversification is once you have your content out, how do you want to, I would say, put it into different categories for your content to have different kind of income diversification. Okay, so monetization is like kind of like the first step where you're like behind, you don't know what you want, you do not know whether your content will get monetized. But the last one is that once you put your content out, do you just put it on like one kind of way, like you just only put for pay-per-view? Is there any other thing that you can do besides putting it on pay-per-view? Like perhaps like for you yourself, you actually create like e-courses where you will actually think about, okay, aside from this, I would want to do other things as well. So those kind of things that creators face is that, yes, once I put out my content already, what else, what more can I do? So I would say these are the things that you would really need to think about, how you want to create money for your different kind of content. So the first step is, should I put it out? So the second one is like, once I put it out, what I should be putting, what more I can do with my content.
That's very important. All right. I hope you guys are learning a lot from this so far. We are almost towards the end. But for now, since we talked about most of the solutions to the challenges a while ago, is there anything here that you want to highlight that we didn't talk about earlier?
I would say, okay, perhaps the thing that I wanted to highlight here, okay, I would like you all to focus on like the collaborative and network. So instead of you guys are like, thinking about, I compare myself to him or her, why not take it that as a learning opportunity to collaborate with that creator? Because when you shift your mindset from comparing and having competition to collaborating and having networking, you are able to expand your your content creator group, to have much more people to work with, to collab with, and to even talk about ideas. So I'm guessing, yeah, like I mentioned, collaborate and network is part of the things that I would
Mm.
really encourage creators to, focus on, because in this content creation journey, you are always not alone.
Oh, that's so sweet. Vincey is
Yeah.
so sweet. What a sweet coach. Angel says here, learn from others. Another good insight. So
Hmm.
besides, like, you don't have to feel negative emotions by comparing yourself. You could actually learn from others because you're comparing your progress with their progress or your style with
Yeah.
their style. So it can be
Yeah.
actually positive. Yeah, and
Mhm.
collaboration, when you mentioned that, actually, it's really great nowadays that on Instagram, for example, you can actually tag more than one collaborator now. So you can have
Mhm.
multiple people on the same post, and that way you are sharing your resources, you're sharing your energy, and you're growing together. And that's really important. So if you don't want to collaborate or you're too shy or whatever, maybe you can simply make friends, make mutuals, right? And that's how a lot
Yes.
of people start because they find internet friends or people who do the same thing and you equally enjoy each other's content. So very
Yeah.
important. I like that. Okay.
Mhm.
Something I want to ask you more about here that we didn't talk about earlier. What about
Yeah.
realistic goals? What do you mean by this?
Okay. I like that you bring that up, the realistic goals. Okay. So if let's say you are a content creator that you just started off, right? What I meant by setting realistic goal is that if you are striving for perhaps subscribers on your platform, please do not say that you want to reach 100 subscribers in 1 month. Okay.
Mm.
Start small. I would say that perhaps in 1 month you would want to reach like 20, given like let's say you post every other day or you create content every other day. So when you have your growth in much more smaller amount,
Mm.
I wouldn't say it's undermine your success, but when you really focus on the progress much more, you will be able to create content much more happier, instead of just focusing on, oh, why can't I hit my numbers, why can't I do this, why can't I do that. So what that happens is that when that kind of psychology happens again, you will go back to your old self and you will think that, oh my god, am I not suitable for content creation because I did not
Mm.
hit my goal. Okay, so set realistic goal that you think that you can achieve in that span of time. Yeah, do not
Mm.
overdo it, because once you overdo it, then you know you will just think that, okay, maybe I'm not meant for this, I'm out, bye.
No, don't quit, guys. It's okay. That's a really good point. I really like that. There's this term in business or in education. It's called SMART goals. So it
Mm-hmm.
stands for specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time bound goals.
Yeah.
So these are easier to measure in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just because it's one thing to say it's my dream to become a big TikToker. That's so
Yeah.
vague. What do you mean by big? What's your definition of big? And if you're just starting
Mm-hmm.
out, how will you measure the milestones? And milestones
Mm-hmm.
matter. I love what you said about the progress and enjoying the journey because usually
Mm-hmm.
that's what the fans look forward to. They're not there because oh, this person hit 1 million, I'm gonna support them now. No, they were rooting for you even when you were tiny and they watched
Yeah.
you grow, and that feels so great. It's like discovering a musician, an indie musician, an underrated artist,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yeah.
saying that, hey, I was a fan before they were cool. I was a fan before they
Ooh.
hit Spotify charts, etc. So
Yeah.
yeah. Angel said here, I agree to focus on the journey. Divide your goals into smaller and doable tasks. All right. I love
Mm.
that. Okay. Guys, I hope you're learning a lot from this conversation because I am as well. Okay. So, moving forward, We talked about all the strategies, all the challenges. Let's talk about success stories. So we have some specific
Yes.
creators that we would love to feature and talk about. So can you tell us about Hannah?
Okay, so Hannah, if you don't understand the word at the back, okay, so her name is Hannah Chi Tutu, okay, it directly means eat bunny, okay, so she's actually a cosplayer from Malaysia, and what kind of success story that I would like to highlight is that, as you can see here, she actually utilizes our monetization tools very, I would say, diversified, and you can see here that her membership is at 65.1% of her total percentage earnings on our platform. So I would say that the success story that I wanted to highlight here is that, as a content creator, okay, when you really diversify your income and really focusing on what you want to do, okay, you are able to really be successful on our platform. Yeah. So aside from Malaysia, we do have other countries as well.
So the next one.
Yeah, the next one, please.
Okay.
Okay, wait. So the next one is Oki Creed. So he's actually an artist from Indonesia. So as you can see here, although his pie chart looks like only just like a two major chunk, but that is because for him as a content creator, he really just focus on doing membership for his audience, which works for him. Okay, I wouldn't say like it has to be focused on one kind of monetization platform, monetization tool, sorry. But, really understanding your subscriber, really understanding your fan base can really help you succeed in just solely surviving on one kind of monetization tools on Gank as well. So he does also have donation at a 4.5%, but that is perhaps when he was trying to, get more donation to upgrade his gear. Yeah. And
Very good point. I
also,
like the huge difference between these creators.
yeah.
And we have another one.
Yes, and last one. Okay, so last one is Ernest Hime. She is actually a cosplayer from Thailand. As you can see here, her pie chart looks very similar to Hannah from Malaysia. So what I wanted to highlight here for these three creators is that really understanding your fan base, really understanding how they would actually like to support you can really help you on your journey in becoming a content creator. So I wouldn't say there's one set way to really succeed as a content creator, but really understanding how you would bring your personal brand to others and how your subscriber will actually would like to support you would be very crucial thing for you to focus on as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we guys can all learn from these just by looking at the pie charts, even if you don't know these specific content creators. The fact that there's so much diversification, like we talked about earlier, for your solutions, this is so important. If you only have one type or a few types of ways to earn from your content, you're kind of limiting the support you can receive. But if you have more, then you're giving more opportunities or more freedom, not just for your own content but for your fans. And I love that. But at the same time, if your priority or value is more towards something like this, like what OK Creed is doing, memberships and donations only, the fact that he's focusing on these, he's able to make his memberships more valuable, or he can make them really important to his
Exclusive,
fan
yeah.
base. Yeah, exactly. So I like that. Very, very cool. Okay, so now we are down to the Q&A portion. And in the meantime, I'll stop the poll from our last question. We got 63% not yet copyright claimed. Okay, good for you. Good thing majority of you have not been copyright claimed yet. and 36% unfortunately have been. But don't worry, like we talked about earlier, it's not the end of the world if you get copyright claimed. You're not gonna be removed from the platform. It's just sometimes you encounter it. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's check now our questions. I think we have a question here from JG, the accidental Oji-san. When will you offer live streaming on the platform itself so we won't have to use other platforms? Is this part of Gank's plan?
Sorry, come again. Can you repeat the question?
We have a viewer asking, when will you
Ah.
offer live streaming on the platform itself?
I was, I would say that currently it's still a work in progress. We are actually trying our very best to really enhance our product, and I wouldn't say like there's a definite answer of whether we will be really providing live streaming service, but it might be something that we are actually looking into. And hopefully currently what we can do now is we are trying to really update our UX UI for our users to have a much more smoother journey on our platform. Yeah, so just stay tuned for our updates at the meantime.
Yeah, it'll be really helpful if you follow all our social media because we put all the updates for all the updates of the platform itself and then the new features. We always talk about the new features on Gank. So, in case you've missed it, we actually have a lot of streaming widgets that you can use. So, if you want to receive donations and you can actually connect it to your stream, you can do that. And even media share. So if your fans want to show a certain clip or video and then you allow it, they just send a tiny amount and then it would show up on your stream. It's so engaging, so interactive, just like we talked about earlier. Perfect. All right. So thank you for that question. Would anyone else have any more questions? In the meantime, I want to ask you a question as well, Vincey.
Okay.
Okay, so for example, like I've asked this before in previous webinars or talks about TikTok or YouTube, etc. And I never really got a satisfying answer. So I'll ask you, since you're a creator success coach.
Okay.
What if, like they always say, focus on a single topic or niche all the time. They always say that so you can grow faster. But what if you are a multi-passionate person with a lot of hobbies or interests? How do you think this type of content creator can grow? Or what's your suggestion for their strategy?
Okay. I like that you bring this up because I do understand that for some content creators, they really want to focus on a niche. But if let's say you do really have a lot of passion and hobby, right? That's why I focus on the personal branding that I highlighted just now. Because when you have your own personal branding, they follow you as a person and a brand instead of following what kind of content that you can give them. Yeah. So if let's say for example, I do know some kind of content creators, like they really like to do like funny stuff, but at the same time they like to do like perhaps skincare, makeup, and cooking. But what she does as a brand, okay, she actually focus on herself. So I'm just sharing with you my personal opinion on this creator in Malaysia. She's So Jen. So what she does is that she actually does yoga content, advertising. So I would say that what you need to focus on is what you as a person can bring value to your audience. So like I mentioned just now, do not really, when you have so much of passion, right? Usually the people, they don't really focus much on your passion. They will focus much more on, oh wow, this content creator is so fascinating. She has a lot of hobbies, a lot of passion. I want to follow her as a person on this journey instead of focusing on a niche. I wouldn't say it as a good or bad thing, but sometimes when you showcase yourself as a brand, okay, you are able to do much more things instead of just focusing on a niche. Because when you are tied to a niche, people will just view you as the expert in the area, which is good, but at the same time, it kind of like limits you towards that area. So to answer your question, I would say that really focus on what you can bring to the table with your passion. So I would say your personal branding is the main thing, but your passion, your hobbies comes as like a supplement to what you can bring to the audience. Yeah. So I hope that answered your questions.
I loved your answer. Thank you so much. I really hope that you guys were listening because that makes so much sense. It relates back to the branding that we talked about earlier. It's really about your personal branding. But at the same time, you're not disregarding your passion or the branches you can branch out to. These are supplementary. Yeah, I like that. And another thing you mentioned that caught my attention is you are supposed to be fascinating. If you think about it, you have to be an interesting human being. It doesn't matter what you do. You're supposed to be an interesting human being, regardless if you do music or cosplay, etc., etc. People are interested in you because you're interesting. It's just math. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's just you. Yeah.
that's really mind blowing if you think about, because I've heard this a lot of times on YouTube education channels. They always talk about how vlogging is a dead form of content, but how come some people still are huge vloggers, or they're new to vlogging but they still grow exponentially? My answer to that, I think, especially relating to what we talked about just now, I feel like okay, so what they would say about vlogging is it's dead because people are not interested in your life. That's just a fact. People don't care about your life, right? Unless you're a celebrity or you're a popular kid, right? But then if you learn to develop content creation in a way that you make your life romanticized or so interesting, so fascinating, that's when you gain your audience. That's how you make any form of content you do actually work. So yeah, I think that really ties up my prior knowledge and what you talked about this entire session today. So thank you so much, Vincey. I love that. I
Thank
love
you.
that. We got some heart emotes in the chat. All right. So since we don't have any more questions, I will be ending the stream soon. If you guys are watching the replay of this live webinar, you can leave questions in the comments and we'll try to answer them. Or we'll try to answer them in the next webinar for February. All right? Thank you so much for watching. Also, in February, we might just have giveaways for our next webinar. So you better be here when that happens. So yeah, thank you so much again, Vincey. Yes, perfect timing. We were gonna end anyway. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much, Vincey, and we will see you guys next time. Say bye. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, guys.